Okay, so yesterday we learned how to find out figures were similar. Now, questions 7 through 10. To begin with, question number 7 and 8, it says the polygons in each pair are similar. It's a big statement. The polygons in each pair are similar. So those two figures, I'm saying they are similar. By saying they are similar, I'm saying the angles are the same and sides are proportional. Then it says find the missing side length. So there's a question mark in there. I need to figure out what's the value of that question mark. In Algebra 1, we learned that when we don't know the value of something, we replace it with a letter. So that question mark, let me replace it with X. So now I'm going to solve for X. Now, X is corresponding with 9. 12 is corresponding with 18. 16 is corresponding with 24. Now, I'm looking at the triangle. I'm looking at the figure that has X. I'm only going to use 2 of those measurements, okay? I don't have to use all 3. One of them has to be X, and the other one is my choice. I can use 12 or 16. I'm going to use X because I have to solve for X, but then I'm going to use 12. Again, it's my choice. I use 12 or I use 16. I chose 12. Doesn't matter. Now, I'm going to make fractions. X and 12, I'm going to write them on top. Because X is corresponding with 9 from the other figure, let me write a 9 under X. Because 12 is corresponding with 18, let me write an 18 at the bottom. If I would have chosen 16, I will write a 24 at the bottom. I only need 2 measurements because I know my polygons are similar. Now I gotta solve for X. I'm just gonna cross multiply it. 18 times X is gonna be 18X. 12 times 9 is 108. So I have 18X is equal to 108. Let me divide both sides by 18. So I get X is equal to 6. Good. Now let's take a look at question number 8. So that question mark, let me replace it with an X. Remember, I'm only going to use 2 values from that figure. One of them has to be X. I know X is corresponding with 16. And the other value I'm going to use is this 6, which is corresponding with this 12. So from one figure, I'm going to use X and 6. So let me write 2 fractions, X and 6. Because X is corresponding with 16, let me put a 16 there. Because 6 is corresponding with 12, let me put a 12 there. And then I'm just going to cross multiply it. Now, probably you guys are using a calculator. Not a big deal. But some of you might be doing it by hand. You want to simplify the fraction 6 over 12 as 1 over 2. That way you deal with smaller numbers. By all means, do so. Okay. Again, let me call this 1 over 2. Because that way we're dealing with smaller numbers. Now, if you're dealing with a calculator, you don't have to simplify. Okay, so let me use this as 1 over 2. I already simplified, so let me use smaller numbers now. Cross multiplication, 2 times X is 2X. 1 times 16 is 16. So I have 2 times X equals 16. Let me divide both sides by 2. So I get X is equal to 8. That's not that bad. Let's take a look now at question number 9. 9 and 10. The difference in here it is solve for X. The polygons in each pair are similar. The difference is that I'm going to do a plus or minus included in my fraction. Okay, so the 2X minus 7 is corresponding with 6. The 15 is corresponding with 10. I only need 2 measurements per figure. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to write 2X minus 7 and 15. Now, because 2x minus 7 is corresponding with 6, I'll put it there. 15 is corresponding to 10. I'll put it there. Now we got to cross multiply it. When I cross multiply this way, right, when there's a plus or minus, in this case a minus, the number that is by itself, 10, I have to go 10 times 2x and 10 times 7. So that's going to give me 20x minus 70 equals. So notice I went 10 times 2x and then 10 times 7. The number by itself has to be multiplied to both, okay? And then on the other way, 6 times 15. 6 times 15 is 90. Okay. Separate them through the equal sign. I got to solve for x. I want the 20x by itself, so this minus 70. Let me move it over as a plus 70. So that gives me that 20x is equal to 160. Let me divide by 20. So I get x is equal to 8. Cool, not a big deal. Take a look at number 10. I'm going to use the 2x minus 10, which is corresponding with 12. I'm going to use the 14, which is corresponding with 21. I only need 2 measurements per figure. So 2x minus 10 and 14. Notice how on the top of the fraction, I'm using the figures that come, the measurements that come from the same figure. And I said 2x minus 10 is corresponding with 12 and 14 is corresponding with 21. Feel free to simplify your fractions if you need to. What I mean with that is 14 over 21, I can call that 2 over 3. Just to deal with smaller numbers. Let me cross multiply it. Because of the minus, that 3 is going to go 3 times 2x and 3 times 10. So it's going to give me 6x minus 30. And then 12 times 2, that's going to give me 24. The minus 30, I'm going to move it over as a plus 30. So I have the 6x is equal to 54, right? 24 plus 30 is 54. Let me divide both sides by 6. So I get x is equal to 9. 54 divided by 6 is 9. Right, there you go. X equals 6. I was working 7 through 10 today, so there you go.